You're watching South Asia Newsline, and here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Tuesday, the 23rd of December. US welcomes India's Shanti Bill, signals deeper energy partnership. India commits $450 million cyclone relief package to Sri Lanka. And protests erupt in New Delhi over Hindu man's lynching in Bangladesh. And now for all the details. The United States has welcomed India's Shanti Bill 2025, calling it a step toward deeper cooperation in energy security and peaceful civil nuclear development. In a post on X, the US Embassy in India said it looks forward to joint innovation and R&D in the energy sector. The Shanti Bill, Sustainable Harnessing and Advancement of Nuclear Energy for Transforming India, was passed during Parliament's winter session and received presidential assent on 20th of December, formally becoming law. The legislation modernizes India's nuclear framework by allowing limited private sector participation under strict regulatory oversight, while granting statutory status to the Atomic Energy Regulatory Board. It aligns with India's clean energy transition and its long-term goal of achieving 100 gigawatts of nuclear capacity by 2047. While private firms can operate plants, generate power and manufacture equipment, sensitive fuel cycle activities such as enrichment, spent fuel reprocessing and high-level waste management will remain under government control. The bill also introduces a graded liability regime, stronger safety, licensing norms and new mechanisms for dispute resolution and nuclear damage claims. India's Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar, during his visit to Sri Lanka on Tuesday, announced comprehensive $450 million assistance package to support Sri Lanka's reconstruction efforts following the deadly cyclone Ditwa. This follows the successful completion of the immediate humanitarian phase under the Operation Sagar Bandhu, India's rapid response to the crisis. Jaishankar on Tuesday also met Sri Lanka's President Anurakumara Dissanayake and Prime Minister Harini Amarasuraya and conveyed PM Modi's warm wishes and message of solidarity in the aftermath of the natural disaster. Jaishankar noted that India had acted as a first responder under Operation Sagar Bandhu and would now step up support for long-term recovery.
We have seen in the past the strong resolve and strength among the people of Sri Lanka to overcome challenges and to march ahead. I can assure you that India stands firmly with Sri Lanka more than ever before, and I'm sure that Sri Lanka will once again demonstrate its great resilience in recovering from this adversity.
Meanwhile, massive protests erupted near the Bangladesh High Commission in New Delhi, demanding justice for Dipu Chandra Das, a Hindu man lynched by an Islamist mob in Bangladesh over allegations of blasphemy. The killing has raised concerns over targeted killings of minorities amid unrest in Bangladesh. Your report.
Massive protests erupted near the Bangladesh High Commission in New Delhi on Tuesday. Several demonstrators were seen holding banners and placards as they raised slogans against the brutal killing of a Hindu man named Dipu Chandra Das by an Islamist mob in Bangladesh last week over blasphemy allegations. Similar demonstrations were also held in West Bengal's Siliguri, which denounced alleged atrocities against Hindus and other religious minorities in Bangladesh. As protesters clashed with police in Delhi, reports suggest Bangladesh also summoned the Indian envoy over security concerns for missions.
जिस तरीके से बांग्लादेश में लगातार हिंदुओं को टारगेट किया जा रहा है, चुन-चुनकर उनको मारा जा रहा है, आखिर कब तक बांग्लादेश के अंदर हिंदुओं पे जुल्म होता रहेगा? वहां की सरकार क्या कर रही है? वहां पर अगर उसने गलती करी थी हमारे भाई ने तो उसको सजा देते, क्या मतलब बनता है चौराहे पे खड़े होकर जला दो? कोई कानून नहीं है कि बांग्लादेश में अगर हम हिंदुस्तानियों ने बांग्लादेशियों को हिंदुस्तान में ढूंढ कर भगाना चालू कर तो फिर क्या होगा? फिर वहां की सरकार रोना चालू कर देगी। हिंदुस्तान में रहकर जो बांग्लादेश से प्यार करते हैं उनको भी कहना चाहता हूं, अब समय आ चुका है, जो भी हिंदुस्तान में बांग्लादेशी रहता है उसको बाहर निकालो और बांग्लादेशी घुसपैठियों भारत छोड़ो, भारत छोड़ो।
Protesters clashed with police and broke barricades, as they demanded accountability from Bangladeshi authorities, with some calling for justice and protection of minorities. Security agencies had already been on alert in anticipation of the protest and put in place tight security arrangements outside the High Commission in New Delhi to prevent any untoward incident.
बांग्लादेश की जो यूनूस सरकार है उसको अपने राजधर्म का निर्वाह करना चाहिए। वहाँ का जो अल्पसंख्यक हिंदू है उसको पूर्ण संरक्षण प्रदान करना चाहिए। जिन लोगों ने वहाँ इस प्रकार से इस्लामी उग्रवाद चला रखा है और हिंदुओं को उसके कारण से वहाँ बलिदान हो रहे हैं, उन हिंदुओं को मुआवजा देना चाहिए। और अगर बांग्लादेश की यूनूस सरकार ये करने में विफल रहती है तो या तो ये सरकार जाएगी, नहीं तो बांग्लादेश के दो टुकड़े होंगे। ये बांग्लादेश की नियति तय है।
Meanwhile, in an email interview with ANI, Bangladesh's ousted Prime Minister, Sheikh Hasina, has slammed the interim government for its failure to maintain peace in Bangladesh. Violence has become the norm in Bangladesh, and the interim government headed by Muhammad Yunus is either in denial or powerless to stop it, Hasina said. The death of Sharif Osman Hadi, a political activist who played a key role in the July movement, has triggered a fresh wave of violence in Bangladesh.
Pakistan Army Chief Field Marshal Asim Munir has once again made unsubstantiated claims about the recent India-Pakistan military confrontation following Operation Sindoor. Speaking in Libya, Munir claimed that Pakistan's Air Force, powered by 90% indigenous technology, neutralized India's Rafale fighter jets and S-400 air defense systems. The assertions have been widely dismissed by India, which claims Pakistan relied heavily on Chinese PL-15 missiles and Turkish-origin drones, most of which were intercepted by India's multi-layered air defense network. Operation Sindoor was launched on May 7th after the Pahalgam terror attack, with India carrying out precision strikes on terror camps in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. The exchanges ended on May 10th after Pakistan sought a ceasefire. Munir has previously drawn ridicule by attributing Pakistan's actions to divine intervention. Meanwhile, in Libya, Pakistan has reportedly signed a defense deal worth over $400 billion with the Libyan National Army despite a UN arms embargo on the country. Moving on, load shedding has emerged as a serious concern for people across Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Citizens blame the Pakistani government for the worsening power crisis. We have a report.
Despite the presence of multiple hydropower projects in the region, Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir is facing frequent and prolonged power outages. The power crisis has disrupted daily life, affecting businesses, education, and healthcare services.
और लोग भी जो ताजर हैं, जो स्टूडेंट हैं, जो बीमार हैं, जो हर तरह के लोग, इनको भी परेशानी न होता कि देखें जो अगर लोड शेडिंग होगी तो कारोबार कैसे होंगे, स्टूडेंट कैसे पढ़ेगा और जो बीमार हैं वो बेचारे कैसे गुजर बसर करेंगे, इतना मुश्किल काम है ये।
Residents also complained that in some areas electricity is restored only for short durations before outages resume, while certain localities face power cuts lasting up to 2 days. They questioned why electricity generated in the region is supplied to other areas while locals continue to face shortages.
मगर ये कि हमारा यही है कि मुजफ्फराबाद में लोड शेडिंग खत्म करें। बिजली पाकिस्तान में जा रही है, सारी पाकिस्तान में जाती है, वहाँ पे लोड शेडिंग कम होगी। या मुजफ्फराबाद वालों के साथ क्या है इनको? हम तो ये कहते हैं कि मुजफ्फराबाद में बिजली पूरी करें, तो मुजफ्फराबाद की बिजली हमारी है। तो वो पैसे नहीं दे रहे हैं, कम कर रहे हैं, वो पैसे देते नहीं हुकूमत पाकिस्तान हमें, फिर भी हमारे भाई वो वोट डाल देते हैं। मगर हम लोग ये कहते हैं कि बिजली पूरी जाए मुजफ्फराबाद को।
And as the 40-day spell of harsh winter cold in India's Jammu and Kashmir, known locally as Chilai Kalan, has begun with rain and snowfall, tourists have been enjoying the winter chill in ski resort town of Gulmarg as the region is blanketed in the thick white snow cover. The region typically experiences significant snowfall. The period is marked by temperatures often dropping to extremely low levels, leading to the freezing of water bodies, including parts of the famous Dal Lake in Srinagar. Chilai Kalan, which began on December 21st and will continue until 31st of January, is known for sub-zero temperatures, frozen lakes, and frost-covered landscapes. Authorities have advised residents and visitors to take precautions against the cold and monitor weather updates, especially in areas prone to sudden snowfall and fog.
और मैं फर्स्ट टाइम ऐसा लाइव स्नोफॉल देख रहा हूँ और बहुत बढ़िया एक्सपीरियंस था हम लोगों का और बहुत मजा आया और बहुत बड़े ग्रुप के साथ में आया था और सब लोगों ने खूब एंजॉय किया, अभी भी कर रहे हैं और मैं तो कहता हूँ कि सभी लोग जो है एक बार स्नोफॉल लाइफ में जरूर देखें.
That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow.